In a major revelation, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has claimed that India launched a BrahMos missile strike targeting key locations inside Pakistan, including the Rawalpindi airport. The statement was made during his speech in Lachin in Azerbaijan. He said India carried out a missile strike on Pakistani territory before Islamabad could launch its planned retaliation. He said, and I quote here, on the night of May 9th and 10th, we had decided to respond to India's aggression in a balanced and calculated manner. Our armed forces, under the leadership of Field Marshal and Chief of Army Staff General Asim Munir, were fully prepared to launch action at 4:30 a.m. after the Fajr prayers. But before that moment could arrive, India launched another missile strike using BrahMos to target several provinces in Pakistan, including the Rawalpindi airport, unquote. We have Aditya Rajkol, our senior executive editor, now joining us on the phone line for more. Aditya, a shocking admission from Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, albeit all too late.
Well, yes, slowly and steadily, skeletons are coming out of the cupboard of the reality of Operation Sindoor, which completely decimated several of the air bases in Pakistan, apart from several command control centers as well. The Indian military had given out details of which, in front of the global media. Pakistan chose to ignore it, but now, slowly and steadily, things are coming out of how India's deadly and most lethal BrahMos missile was used by India to target Pakistan, and it was very, very successful. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan, a puppet prime minister, who really does whatever the Pakistan army asks him to do, is now admitting that BrahMos was used by India and has decimated, their air bases in Pakistan. A clear admission of guilt also coming in globally of, Pakistan's sponsorship of terrorism that has happened, over the years, over the last many decades, and how Pahalgam terror attack led to such military confrontation. So the ball is entirely right now in Pakistan's court of how it wants things to progress further, whether it wants peace in the region or a gradual conflict. But as of now, a massive embarrassment on the global stage for Pakistan, with the Pakistan Prime Minister himself admitting that India used BrahMos against Pakistan, and it was a very deadly attack from the Indian Armed Forces, completely decimating Pakistani air defenses and critical Pakistani defense locations.
And interesting that, Aditya, that he admitted to it in Azerbaijan, in Lachin, during his speech. And it was also, he put a context to it. He said that this was just before Islamabad, as in Pakistan, could launch its planned retaliation.
Absolutely. In fact, apart from Turkey and China, Azerbaijan is the third such country that has been blindly and completely supporting Pakistan in this so-called, military confrontation with India, and also in this proxy war of terrorism. They are completely defending it by blindly supporting Pakistan. And this admission coming on Azerbaijan soil also is very significant, because this would make the global community understand of India's intentions. India will not compromise on terrorism when it comes to Pakistan-sponsored terrorism and terrorism emanating from that soil. India has given several warnings, and any time now that if there is a terror attack, it will be an act of war. That's the change in policy. That's the kind of threshold that we have crossed right now in the escalation ladder. And a very firm message has gone out to Pakistan that we have targeted your 9 terror locations. We've also targeted more than 5 or 6 air bases and critical command control centers in Pakistan. And they have seen the wrath that was brought in by the Indian Armed Forces in Pakistan. And if they continue to push this proxy war and terrorism against India, particularly in Jammu and Kashmir, consequences will be for everyone to see.
Aditya Rajkol there joining us for the latest on that big story. Thank you, Aditya.